Hello everyone and welcome to FreeCAD tutorials. In this tutorial we explain how to revolve, then we explain how to slice, and finally we explain how to perform 3D offset operations. To illustrate how to perform these operations, we will create this geometry. This geometry is created by first creating this 2D sketch over here. Namely, you have an arc and a line. Then this 3D sketch is revolved to create this part over here. Then after that, we created a 3D offset to offset this line that's being revolved, which it becomes a surface, and over here we specify the offset value. We can change this easily, and you can see how everything changed over here. Then after that, we created a slice, namely we removed this piece of surface to create this projected part over here. And then finally we created this crest over here. Okay, let's start with modeling. Once you open FreeCAD, click on File, click on New, then over here select Part. Then let's create a sketch by clicking here, select the YZ plane, click OK. Then let's turn on the grid by clicking here, expand this, set the grid spacing to be 5, press enter. Over here make sure that snap to grid and snap to object is selected and click over here. First of all, let's create an arc. So click here, then click over here, then specify this value over here, and then let's draw an arc, specify 90, and do the right click. Now, let's constrain the diameter of this arc. To do that, simply click here, click here, click here, and specify the diameter to be 30, or actually the radius to be 30. Do the right click. Then let's sketch a line, click here, and then let's click here and do the right click. Let's specify the length of this line. Simply click here, click here, click here, and let the length be 45. Now our sketch is fully constrained. We are going to revolve, that is this, we are going to sweep this shape around the vertical line. And let's learn how to do that. To revolve this shape, click on Close, then make sure that you select Sketch, and over here you need to find this Revolve button. Click on it. Now, over here, first of all, you need to select the angle. Let's go with 180 degrees. And if you click on OK, you will see that the part is revolved around the vertical axis. Of course, you can change the axis if you have a differently oriented shape. And that's it. Now you have learned how to basically revolve. This is a very powerful operation. The next step is to learn how to perform a 3D offset. Namely, we want to offset this surface, which doesn't have thickness, for a certain amount to create the shape. Okay, so let's learn how to do that. Well, first of all, look what's written over here. If you click on this button, this is the offset button. Now, click on Revolve and then click here on Offset, and you will see how the part is actually offsetted for a certain value. However, you will see one issue over here since the surface is just offsetted without filling it in. No worries, we will fix that. So let's select the offset to be, for example, 3.5 millimeters. And then over here, we need to click on Fill Offset, and this will fill completely the offset such that we have the shape. And let's click on OK, and voila, here we are. Everything is being filled. Now, if you expand the offset, you will see that separately from the offset, we have Revolve. The suggestion over here I have is to select both of these things and then click on Part, and over here you need to find Compound and make Compound. This will actually create the union of these two objects, such as when you select the object, both the offset and revolve will be selected, and now everything is unified. The next step is to create the opening over here. Let's learn how to do that. Well, for that purpose, click here and then activate the sketch again. And over here, we need to select the appropriate plane. Let's start with the XZ plane to see what will happen. No, this is not what we want. Click on close, then simply delete the sketch. Let's do it again. Click here, then again, click on the sketch. Let's do YZ plane and let's click on OK. And now we are in the YZ plane. However, we cannot see our plane because this plane is being obstructed by the projection. To fix that, simply click here and you will see inside. Over here, we want to create a slot. That is, we need to use this create slot. So let's click here and let's start sketching the slot. Let's place the slot over here and let's sketch the slot. And let's draw an arbitrary slot. Let's do the right click and let's constrain this slot. First of all, let's constrain the distances. Click on this point, then press and hold Control key and click on this point, and then over here click on constrain horizontal distance, and let's go with 30. Now, you will see here redundant constraints. So if you expand here, simply erase this constraint 8, and now you'll be left with 3 degrees of freedom to constrain. So let's see what are the degrees of freedom. First of all, we need to constrain the distance from this line to this line. Let's do that. Click on this point, press and hold Control key, click here, and then over here, you need to find this option, constrain vertical distance, and let's go with 10. Now, let's see, we have 2 additional degrees of freedom. Let's see what are degrees. First of all, we can observe that we can move left or right. So let's constrain this. To do that, click on this point, then click on another point, and then click on this vertical line, and then click here on the symmetry constraint, and now we have constrained symmetrically. However, we have an issue, so let's erase the 6th constraint. Click here, erase, and then let's see what we are left with. We need 1 additional degree of freedom to constrain in order to resolve this shape. And actually, we didn't properly resolve this thing. Okay, so to do that, click on this line, or actually click on this point, press and hold Control and click on this point, and then let's again do the following. Let's find the option where it is, here it is, and do constrain horizontal distance, and let's do with 24, and that's it. Good. Now everything is fully constrained. Next, we need to basically close this sketch by doing this. Okay, if you rotate now, you will see the sketch over here. Good. The next step is to extrude this sketch. To extrude this sketch, simply click on sketch and over here find the extrude button. And let's start extruding. First of all, click on apply to see the direction where we are extruding. We are extruding in correct direction. So let's extrude this, let's say with 30 or something like that, 35 or 40. And let's click on apply and voila, here it is. Now we have completely extruded this part and you can see how nicely it looks. Next, we need to slice. That is, we need to create an intersection between our revolved part and this extruded part, and then we need to erase this slice. First, click on OK, and over here you will notice extrude, extrude, extrude. Let's make a compound of these 3 extrudes, select all of them. To select all of them, press on this one, press and hold Shift key, and select all of them. Then over here, go on Part, find Compound, and make a compound. And now everything is compounded. Good. The next step is to create a slice. Click on this object, then press and hold Shift, click on this object, then over here you need to click on Part, then you need to click on Split, and then you need to click Slice Apart. And voila, you can see what happened. If you expand this, you will see all the slices that are being created. And now let's select the slice that we want to erase. If you now click here, here's the slice that we want to erase. Simply click on this slice and press delete. And let's see what's happened here. We have sliced this part, however, we have an artifact here. So there is another slice from inside. You can just click here or here, that is slice 3, and do this. And now you have created the opening and looks really, really nice. Okay, the next thing you can do, you can compound everything. To compound everything, select everything, then do part, then over here do compound and click on make compound to compound everything. Good. Now we have created the part we wanted to create. That is, we have learned how to, number 1, revolve, number 2, how to do 3D slice, and uh, number 3, how to basically do 3D offset. And that's it. Simple as that. And finally, let's learn how to create the crest. Simply click here, then click over here and select the plane. Let's try this plane. Yes, this is the plane we want to start working with. Then let's click here to have the lines and to see all the lines. And let's create a crest over here. We can do something like this. You can basically click here, do this, click here, and then you need to create an arc. Actually, we need to repeat this. You need to click here, then click here, and from here draw an arc. Here's our arc, and then let's do the following. Let's now draw a circle or some object, circular object starting from here. Let's put it like until this, and then let's do this, and then let's draw a line from here to here. Let's do the right click and let's trim. To trim, you need to select here. So trim this part, and that's it. And you can also trim this part. Don't forget to do that. Press right click to close, and then let's just move our sketch. If you click here, and if you click here, you need to translate this sketch. Let's see the direction. The sketch should be translated in the Y direction. So here, let's go with minus, let's say 4, or 4 actually, to move it a little bit in this direction. And let's click on apply, click on OK, and then let's click here, and then let's extrude the sketch. And over here, let's go with 8 to see what will happen. Click on apply, and that's it. And then let's click on OK, and here it is. This is precisely the object from the beginning of this video tutorial. Okay, that's all for today. I hope that you like this video. If you like the videos I'm creating, please press the like and subscribe buttons and see you in the next video tutorial.